You know what I'm saying? Like,
Here we go. Hello, and welcome to Trek 1-2. Today we have Emerson Sullivan, Cooper McCarthy, and Charlie Gallagher. We will be discussing a driving question through various narrative writings.
I am Emerson Sullivan, and today we're going to discuss our driving question of: do marine sports programs provide an environment for all types of kids to feel loved and to have a sense of belonging? A very interesting and prevalent topic in our community today. First up, Cooper will share his story.
it was scorching. The asphalt created a mirage that hovered over the pavement. It was a hot November afternoon, which is strange because it's November and it's supposed to be cold outside. But that's beside the point. My soccer team had arrived at the Lagunitas field in the late afternoon, but it felt like an endless summer night. There was so much pollen from the fields that it was almost hard to breathe, and the game hadn't even started yet. The sun was beaming down on all of our faces, which turned them blood red as the hour passed. We saw the other team arrive at the field and our stomachs dropped. All of these kids were massive, and none of them looked 14. Before the game started, our coach gave us a talk, and he said, "This game is not going to be an easy game, I'll give you that. But in the end, it's a battle of who wants it more." That really got us fired up as we took our positions. I was a right defender and played mostly in the back. I was ready. The place went quiet, and a cool breeze blew by. It was us versus the team, no one else. The referee looked at both the goalkeepers and asked, "Ready?" Tweet, and the game was off. My team moved up the field, and because the other team had first possession of the ball. We dashed around the whole field, passing and shooting, but for some reason, no one was scoring. I went for the ball in the middle of the field, and this 6-foot kid rams into me as hard as he could, sending me flying through the air as I smashed into the ground. The ref runs over to the player and holds up a yellow card and places the ball in the middle of the field for a free kick. We need to score him fast because we don't have much time. In the second half of the game, I ran down in the field as fast as I could and slid tackled the same guy. I got up and passed the ball to the line. Chris, one of my teammates, received the ball and dribbled and passed to one of our forwards, who took a shot and barely missed. The ref blew the whistle, and we were still tied up at 0. Now we're in penalty kicks, which is one of the most nerve-wracking experiences in soccer. We lined up around the outside of the goalie box, sweat dripping down our faces, gasping for breath. Our players stepped up in the box, focusing on nothing but the goal. Bam! The player shot but missed. But the other team's joy was soon short-lived. The next player made the shot, and I knew we were in it from there. The player from the other team missed again, and then we scored. The other team scored. All we had to do now was make one more shot, and we win. The whole crowd went silent. Even the bird stopped squawking. He ran up and shot the ball and hit the back of the net. The crowd and my team erupted with joy as we dogpiled on Jonas, who was the guy who shot the penalty kick. My coach came over and said that we were the team who wanted it more, and he was right.
A Feeling of a Team by Charlie Gallagher. The rain pounded on the roof of the car like 1,000 tiny tap dancers. The windshield wipers swayed back and forth at a steady rate. The sweat ran down my face. My jersey reeked, but it was the smell of what felt like a year's worth of accomplishment. My dad and I drove home in complete silence, only listening to the hum of the car. He did not want to say anything because he knew that it would probably get me angry. But about halfway through, he said something that just flipped my mood right around. The words just ran out of his mouth, breaking the silence. Hey, you ready for baseball tomorrow? I just conquered the last basketball game of my freshman career, and we had won MCALs. However, I felt disappointed and left out of the success. I was happy that it was over, knowing that I was a good teammate and knowing that I pushed myself. However, my season did not reflect that. I didn't even see minutes in some games and barely played in most, except when we played very crappy teams. I felt nobody believed in me. My coaches, teammates, some of my friends. I felt confused, but also driven. My identity, I felt, was crushed into many pieces. It was the longest short car ride of my life. I was dripping sweat. My cleats felt as if they were melting away on the turf. It was the next day after baseball had ended. I was excited for baseball, and I had missed the 3 prior tryouts, and I was there for the last one, along with a couple other guys who had played basketball also. The 2-hour tryout seemed to go on forever, the coaches getting the final glance to look at their players. At the conclusion of our tryout, we huddled, did our pirate cheer, then trudged into the field house, nervously, everyone eager to hear the news. I was clenching my hands hard, tapping my feet in the reekish-smelling field house. However, I knew I was not even close to as nervous as others. The room was surrounded with lockers, and right on your left, if you walked in, was the front door and the coach's office, which really looks like a jail cell. As soon as all the freshmen got settled in and the coaches got settled in their office, they came out and said, "We're going to call you guys in alphabetically. We will start with..." I was G, so I had a little while since I was called. Before I was called, within the first 15 minutes, I'd seen it all. It was rough how they did it. They came out of the office, collect their stuff, and I'd be asked if they made the team, or didn't, and just walk awkwardly out the door, in dead silence. Finally, it was my turn. I walked in the office practically shaking. I sat down and shook each of my coaches' hands. My coaches were really nice guys. That's what made probably getting cut the worst. Bam, right then, just as I sat down, the words poured out of his mouth, "Congratulations." I kind of stopped listening to everything else he said. Everything else just slowed down. I was so psyched that I had a new opportunity and a fresh slate to do something I love. At the end of the day, I could not say I was excited instead of pondering more than ever, thinking constantly how the other kids feel and what it did to their own identity when they came home and said to their parents. That baseball season, I ended playing in every game, getting at least 2 at-bats and having the reward of feeling like I did something to contribute. However, what really made me think was about the kids who did not make the team and the kids that did not have the chance to contribute. I really felt like I belonged and I knew my role was on the team. A question, however, stuck with me since the last day of my season. Is it harder to be on a team and feel like you did not contribute to the success, or be cut from a team? From personal experience, I knew both can change your view on yourself, destroy your self-esteem, and make you feel like you belong in a barren world with others who feel the same way.
Hello, I'm Emerson Sullivan, and my story is going to be titled Game Day. There's a moment in every competitive athlete's life, a terrifying moment of transcendence, where all of the hard work and dedication is put to the ultimate test, a test where one finds out what they are truly made of. Some call these moments enlightenment, but in the world of sports we have another name for it, Game Day, our chance to show the world of Junior Olympic water polo what we are made of. After a year of sacrifice, pushing through a seamlessly endless struggle of ups and downs, we had finally achieved our goal, a position to medal at the National Junior Olympics, the largest, most anticipated youth water polo tournament in the country. Sunlight glaringly danced across the shimmering pool, as the stands filled with thousands of sunburnt boys, young and old, all eager to watch the best of the best, the battle-tested gladiators who remained untouched, invincible. The excitement in the air filled the stadium with an electrifying buzz. The match was an instant classic, a David versus Goliath moment in which Shaq, my small, unknown team from Northern California, was battling the almighty Vanguard, the powerhouse of all club water polo. It was a Southern California all-star team of oversized, intimidating, swimming behemoths who had dominated all of their previous opponents. The pressure was on, the crowd was screaming, and the first whistles blew. My adrenaline rushed, my heart pounded. The minutes blurred, leaving me in a haze. It was a constant barrage of excitement and action. When we scored, they retaliated with a goal of their own. A block for us, a block for them. A goal for a goal, a steal for a steal. Two teams, neck and neck, evenly matched. Before I knew it, we were headed to a shootout. We huddled together as we watched, one shooter after another, each shot accompanied with an exuberant display of either pure happiness or total despair. We sat there hoping, wanting, for nothing more than a win, for all our work to pay off and reward us with what we thought of as the ultimate prize. But despite all our hoping, our hard work, and our commitment, the final shot came, and Vanguard were the victors, the ones celebrating as champions. Time stopped moving, and I fell into a trance. Yet in spite of all the sorrow, of all the shame I felt inside for not winning that medal, I still had won the ultimate prize that day. One that is more valuable than any amount of hardware is equal to. A prize created from the energy around me and my team. That day, I discovered a deep sense of belonging, of love and of happiness, and I learned a little more about life itself. I learned the true meaning of a sport team. It was more than just a competition. It was more than winning first place. I gave everything I had that day, every ounce of energy, every drop of sweat in my body. When the day was over, we had lost. But as a team, we grew. We felt a greater purpose. Each individual felt a sense of belonging, a feeling of love that we now know today is the true gift of game day.